Hey guys, this is my new project. Well, it's a project I've been trying to get to for the past month or two since my husband has come home from Iraq. He actually brought me, for my sister-in-law, this gorgeous old box. It's a jewelry box. You can't tell. There are parts of it that have come away at the seams and the soldering joints that need to be fixed. And I meant to videotape this before I took this out. I took it out so that I could actually do a stain removal on it because there was this huge red stain and I did not know what it was, and there were bits of old yellowed glue attached to it where whoever made it had glued down these bits to the padding. And before I put this back in, see how it's still the same color as the other stuff. I just cleaned it because it had a lot of dirt and other things in it. Before I do that, what I'm going to do is solder these joints and make it look almost new. I'm going to leave the flowers the way they are. I'm going to actually replace the pad, or put the pad back in, and I might do a few things to clean up some of this nice some of these nice little decorative items and solder it back together. This happens to be what I'm going to solder it together with. It is a lovely soldering gun, and I will have some soldering materials to solder it with. I could only find it in silver from the place that I got this. Got it off of Wish. It was free with just paying the shipping, which was like $3. But it's the same soldering gun that they sell in some stores for like $20-30. All it is this little thing right here. It does just as good a job as anything else. And they put an extra fine tip on it, which is what you want for soldering small joints. It's the same thing that some computer techs and whatnot use for soldering together refurbished chips. It's also the same thing that's used in a lot of hobbies, such as what I'm doing right now. It's also used in jewelry making, and the very fine tip is so good that you can actually solder a wire down to something, and as long as you don't touch the wiring, it will not melt it. As for the reasoning why, one of the reasons why I haven't done much with Draconis lately, he is in brumation. If he comes out tomorrow, I'll get him to say hi to the camera. But during a lizard's brumation, they spend most of the day, if not all of the day, sleeping. He did come out just a little bit to eat out of his little bowl. And it has to be that bowl or he will not eat it. And he enjoys Beardy Bites when he's brumating. The bugs that he was eating before have pretty much died off most of the way. Some will have to buy more beetle, more of the superworms to make beetles. And I might talk my husband into allowing me to get surnoms, which is a type of roach where they're all female. And they will only breed as much as the container will hold. And there's his collection of dinosaurs helping to bolster up and hold down the covers of his thing. He has his blue mattress in there and his creepy kitty, but the rest of his stuff is not allowed in the box while he's brewmating. That's his money to get some water bottles, because Mommy will wake him up every 5 to 10 days to give him a couple drops of water if he's not getting up to eat. I might go about 10-15 days if I check him and he's not dehydrated, which I do not let him get fully dehydrated. I am not a beauty abuser. Nope. Another thing, another reason why I'm not on as much is because the children brought home a gift with them during Hurricane Irma that most likely ended up making everyone ill, because I've heard my brother-in-law coughing. My husband had a couple of days where he wasn't feeling good, but it hits me the most due to all of my illnesses. That's his bridge, and I do have to take his box out tomorrow so I can clean up his rug and his jar, and his big brother's jars are doing well. I might use his big brother's jar to help seed his new tank that he will be having. If you haven't noticed, their uncle, my brother-in-law, actually saw what I did with this and brought another jar. Only my son will most likely have an external filter, so we can do an experiment to see whether or not an external filter works better or an internal filter works better. Although this internal filter is doing a beautiful job. If you can see, clear water. Although I do like a little bit of a tint to the water. It conditions the fish. She's been conditioned by having tinted water. And the water finally cleared up because the filter finally got the proper colony of bacteria that it needed to. And also, there are some lovely pieces of oyster shell and other kinds of seashell in there. You have to wash them extremely well. Make sure that you clean them with Dawn soap and dunk them in vinegar water. Warm vinegar water will tell you how alkaline one of them are. Some of them have so much buildup on the outside that vinegar water and a good scrub with Dawn soap is the only thing that will take off the excess. And if they continue to bubble even after you've taken off the excess, don't use them. Oyster shells, the kind that you get for birds to eat, those are really good for filters and down into the gravel. And seashells that do not fully foam the water. They can foam the water just a little bit. And also seashells that are not extremely colorful, because some of those colorful shells with the purples and the blues and pinks and whatnot seem very pretty, but sometimes that is added onto the shell, or it's from a mineral that's not good for your tank. The only thing I would advise against is using electrical tape. I'm going to have to do some damage control with that. and use some of the other tape that doesn't bleed. This tape is bleeding, but it seems not to be doing any ill effects to the tank. But I'll still replace the bottom portion with like a seal of some sort. Maybe with some Gorilla Tape or something. This is by far my favorite of all the tanks. It may be because it's the main tank. It may be because these were just regular rhizomes to begin with. But if you can tell, I put seashells in there. There's oyster shells in the filter. There's a bubbler. There's marrow moss, which is actually a type of hair algae that keeps the other types of algae out of your water. And although it looks very clear, to me, it's rather tinted. The camera might pick up on the tinted. But that's our little ghost fish. Her name is Sue Sylvester. Then we have Penny Dragon. We call her Penny, and that's Sue. And then the big ones, if y'all don't remember their names, it's Pendragon, Neville, Flame, and I'm trying to remember what the fourth one is called. Oh, it's Dragonisa. And they're very happy little fish. And you can tell they've been crossbred with other kinds of platy. Y'all might not be able to see the size difference in those babies, but they're getting pretty big. Then we have this one. That happens to be one of my other favorites because all I did was put an airstone in. It's got some plants. It still has a few shrimps in it. They might decide to start breeding soon. But anyways, I actually do need to go before I end up passing out from being way too hot and having the effects of illness. So I'm going to have the fish tell y'all bye-bye. Notice how they're running for the camera to show off. Well, I'll see y'all later. Maybe in a day or so, maybe tomorrow, whenever I feel up to it. If Draconis comes out, he will say hi to y'all. Anyways, if y'all haven't already, please subscribe, like, share, do whatever you want with this video. And maybe if I hit like 150 subscribers, I might actually do a special. Anyways, little milestones, little milestones. Bye.